So here we are, we're walking along the Sumida River, the Sumida Terrace. This is a walk along the river, lovely walk. And we're going to show you a bit. We're near Central Tokyo. And we're going to show you my morning walk here along the Sumida River. Coming up on one of the ugliest bridges along the river. It's an expressway here. It is the Sumida Ohashi. So quite an ugly bridge, and we'll be under this, and it'll be out of the way pretty quickly here. One of the things you can see is that people are, the masks are beginning to come off now, at least when people walk along the river in the morning. Now we're coming under the bridge here, and what's coming into view is the Eitai Bashi, the Eitai Bridge. This is a historical bridge. Stop right here. Well, here we are. That is the Skuda. Those are the residential towers at Skuda there, and we're going to turn to the right here. There we go. That is the Chuo Ohashi, the Chuo Big Bridge right there. Quite a lovely bridge. And we're going to keep that, there we go, we're going to keep that in the view. Walking along the river here. And you can see the river splits here. The Sumida River, the Sumida splits. And you can see there around this island, series of islands there, and the island that we're looking at right there, part of that does date from the Edo era. Much of that, what we're seeing in the picture, is post the Edo era, the landfill. But part of that is actually there we go. There is got a little bit of that heron there. Now we're going to come up on a walk here. It's quite lovely. What they've done here, there's a lock, a canal lock, and they just finished this a couple months ago. They got a walk that goes over the lock, so you can stay along the river. Quite nice. A very pleasant little walk here, and we're going to get a little bit of elevation as a result. Swing around there and look down the river. There's the bridge right there. Got some ducks along the river there. Swing back around, and I'll show you the lock coming up right here. This is the canal lock. These are to protect from surges, water surges during both tsunamis and from typhoon. Typhoon is probably a bigger risk, but also we do have tsunami risk here. So, there we go. They call it the water gate. Right there. Okay. That's quite a structure there. Yeah, see there's the water under the lock. Okay, now we're back to the walkway here. We're crossing over this. As I say, this is used to have to go all the way around that, come off of the river walk here. Don't have to do that anymore. It's quite nice. And let's come up, get a good shot of the buildings there. And there's the bridge. And now we're going to go down the stairs here and walk right along the river. I'm going to get right up close to the river here. It's now a waterfront park we're in. And let's just give you a good view. There. Here. You might see a heron. They're usually hanging out along the water here. Get a feel for the buildings there. There's like 50 to 60 story. These ones are some of a 40 to 50 story. Yeah, that one's about a 55 story building there. This way around, there's the, oh, there we go. Oh, no, that's a seagull there. Yeah, we got a seagull flying around there. There's a boat coming up the river. There we go. Well, it looks like some, oh, we got some filming? What are you doing there? I don't know what that is. Looks like some kind of people maintenance, some kind of maintenance on the river maintenance crew, some kind. Now you can see that kind of light green, that's the Aoi Bashi, the Aoi Bridge. That's a more recent bridge. I think that's, what, around the turn of the century, around 1999 or so. Remember when it was built. I've been here long enough. Maybe early 2000s. Could check. A lot of these buildings that you see here are post 2000. A lot of the buildings that you're seeing here and along the river here are post 2000. We got a, there we go, there's a heron right there, there we go. There, it's good landing there. We'll get a, oh no, he doesn't, thought he was going to land there. I thought he was, oh no, he did land. Or she. I always guess that the ones with the darker feather, the dark feathers are female, but I could be wrong there. There we go. There we are. There we are. Oh, let's see. Give you a better view. Okay, come down here. There we are. See that? bird. Yeah. Swing back around. Here comes another one. There we go. There's another one there. Did we get that? No. Missed it. That just flew by. They're all over. The heron there are all over. They seem to be a lot more than they used to be. It's a nice thing to see. Clearly, the water is now clean enough that the fish are thriving, so the birds can thrive. That's a nice development. I think at one time the bridge was more, the river was more polluted, but it's a lot less polluted these days. And I say this is a really nice walk along the river here. And we're coming up on another very recently opened connection where instead of going to the street, you just stay along the river. And there's a little park. You can see the trees to the right there. The trees there, there's a small park. People fish from that point. We'll go there just to give you a look. It's a nice view of the river. Really feel it's a nice vantage point to view the river. Some people, I've seen these people before with their dogs around this time. Yeah. You turn to the park there. And we're getting close to the river. To the bridge there. And here we are. There's the park. Now, it's not a new park. It's been around a while. And we're going to stay. See, this walkway is brand new. Right here. Just opened this up. This used to be, again, there was no walkway. You had to get to the street. You couldn't come here. You had to get on the street and then come back down to get here. But now it's all connected. So this is quite a nice thing here. Yeah, we look up the river there. Yeah. There we go. That's a real lovely view there. Really feel the river from this vantage point. There's the bridge that we're going to cross in just a moment here. I just want to show you. You can walk under the bridge here. There's actually there's homeless people usually one or two. This little park is frequented by. There are homeless people in Tokyo, not like what you have in the U.S., but they are here. You can see them there. But you can see. Get this down. There we go. See that? See that you walk along there. At high tide, the water does come in there, and in really high tide, it's all going to be submerged. But you see these, and I'm not going to go in there to leave the people alone there. And let's give you the view. There we go. Okay. There you go. Looking up the river there, and that in the distance is Eitai Bridge. Get a little bit of magnification here. Okay, now we're going to go over the bridge, walk over the bridge. exercise. Now we're coming out of this little park. We're going to go over the Ioi Bashi. So right there it says that Ioi Bashi, Ioi Bridge. Nothing special, just a box girder bridge here. And that's Sumida and Kishima districts of Chuo Ward. We're crossing from Koto Ward into Chuo Ward. Chuo literally means center, the central ward. But these islands were at one time very disconnected from the rest of the city. There wasn't subway service here. It was they were very isolated. One of the things about one of the results of that is that you have one of the largest, and it also, interestingly, this area was relatively untouched by the firebombing of Tokyo in World War II. So much of the city was devastated, especially the areas that we've been through so far. But now coming into this part of the city, much of this was not damaged by the bombing, and as a result, there are a lot of pre-war buildings here. One of the biggest group of pre-war buildings that you'll find anywhere in Tokyo is in this part of the city. So now we're going to swing across the bridge here, and we're going to swing, and we're going to go back along the water here, and come down stairs. Got this walkway here that's up here. It's built up. All this is kind of, some of this is natural, but this is built up. It's protection. It's flood protection. So you've got about 4 meters. You can withstand about 4 or 5 meters of a wave here. So it's designed to protect the city. Now we're back down on coming along the river now, and coming out ahead. Quite often you see heron. So there's a lot of heron that like to, especially the younger ones, that like to come and do fishing in when at high tide. It'll bring there's little fish that'll get trapped. And the ducks like to come in this area here. You'll see, let me just show you here. There you see you got these plants that are kind of floating in the water. See that? There, see they got the floating, these plants float in the water there. Get this back up. There we go. And let's get a little bit more. There we go. About 2x magnification there. That's pretty close to what I'm actually seeing, so I get a good perspective of what I'm viewing, the approximate size. That's what I'm trying to do here as much as possible. People are out walking their dogs and getting their morning exercise. Lovely place. A lot of people live here, of course, in these residential towers now to my left. Let me just show you towers. Okay, let's see if we can come up here. Yeah, there's towers there. Okay. Tide's fairly low this morning. So I don't know how, we'll see how many heron are going to be feeding. Some days there's like 6, 7 of them right at the point. We're going to come up on a point here. And there are some ducks that usually are feeding. As I say, you'll sometimes see as many as 6 or 7 of the heron. Usually, as I say, the younger ones. It's just a little bit easier for them to get more easier pickings for them. I guess they don't need to eat as much, and so they can eat smaller fish and whatever, smaller stuff. So there we go. You see there's the Atai Bridge coming into view. We're getting closer to it. We're going to come up on the point here, and then we're going to swing and walk along the west side of these islands. What we're going to do here. And yeah, you get the feel. You get this nice feeling of the city and the park and the water, a little bit of nature, a little bit of nature in the heart of the city, heart of the biggest city in the world. So, and nature can, even in a place like this, you're going to get, there we go, I can see up there. There's a little guy right there. There's a guy right up there. There's one feeding. There's one. I see one guy feeding. One of those white ones. Now, I don't know if that means they're young or whatever. Maybe they get when they get older. There you go. I'm going to do, you know what I'm going to do here. Let me shut this off for a second. Back here, let's see, if you look, you see there's a duck feeding down there. We are. There's a duck feeding, and the water's low, as I say, it's low tide. And there's a heron right up, little guy, right up there. Just one this morning. Usually there's more when the tide is higher. There's usually more of them feeding. We'll come up and get a good view of this. Let's see, here we go. We just focus in on, there we are. You see that? There's a little guy there. Yeah, let's see. That's such a pretty bird. Yeah, it's so nice to, well, I say it's real nice to come along and see this kind of stuff along the river. You say in a city this big and you got all this, not a lot of nature, and so you come and it's nice to be able to see stuff like this. Now we're coming up the Chuo Ohashi. See the bridge there. Let me just give you a view of what this bridge, and there you go, look at that. Yeah, there's the top of the bridge. There we go. People out exercising. Morning. I've done my exercises. I have a workout routine that I do before I go walking to something I recently did. I was having trouble with my feet. My feet were were getting sore and inflammation. And they figured out, a specialist figured out the problem was that I wasn't walking correctly and my leg muscles were weak. So even though I walked a lot, certain muscles in my leg were weak, and so I wasn't getting good support. Also, my feet needed better support, so I got the orthopedic? No, ortho something. Maybe it is. No, it's not orthopedic. At any rate, whatever it is. So I got the support on my feet, the arch of my feet here, and yeah, we're coming under this bridge. This bridge dates from, I think, 1999. This is a 1999, right at the end of the 20th century, and this connected, gave another connection to this part of the city. Let me come down here. Here we go. Yeah, you got this nice city and the mix. You really feel like you're in the city here, but you've got some nice natural the river and the park here. All of this is very nicely done. This is stuff that's happened, I think, in the last 30 years. The development of these parks, the reconnection with the waterfront, all this is, and it's so nicely done. And I think every year more and more people are going out and using it. More people are living near the river, and the river itself now, because of these parks, can be a part of their lives. So I think that's the Scuda Bridge. Yeah, it's the Scuda Wash, which is again one of these ugly post-war bridges. Now we're looking downriver. Here in just a minute here, we're going to cross over into the Scuda Island, the historical area, part of the city that has been occupied since at least the early 17th century. This was actually a natural island. Now, we're going to come over another bridge here. I'll just show you a piece of it as I walk along this historical island, Scuda. So one of these days I'll do a video walking around the neighborhood there. I come up the stairs here. And we're back, and we're going to cross this little bridge here. There we go. And on to the Scuda Island, the historical island, Edo era, as they say, from the early 17th century, early in the Edo, maybe even, yeah, early 17th century. People have been living on this island, and this is, and I suspect that when it wasn't bombed, there are a number of pre-war buildings. Got the shrine here. Show you, there's the torii, and this shrine has been here since the early 17th century. Let me back up here a bit because I'm going to show you a pre-war house. In fact, pre-earthquake. It is about 1918. This particular house was built there. As I say, that's quite historical. But this is the historical part. And what's really nice about this neighborhood, there's almost no vehicular traffic because it's just, I mean, there's streets, but there's just no reason for cars to come down. So it's very quiet, very, very little traffic except for delivery traffic that comes in. So we're just going to give you a little glimpse along there. Just a little glimpse of the neighborhood there. It's a very historical part of the city, and it escaped the bombing. You have a number of pre-war and a few pre-earthquake buildings in the neighborhood, and it really retains a kind of old feel that's really unique in the city, I think. So now we're coming back down the river. This is the Sumida River. It's one of these ugly, another one of these post-war ugly bridges. And we're now going to turn and go down the river. And we're now, you can see down is, we're going to get along the river here. That is Harumibashi. That's another pre-war building. There's a number of these bridges that survived the bombing. They survived. They were well built. The bombing avoided the bridges. It was more, I don't know if they were actually hit. None of as far as I understand, none of the bridges were taken out as a result of the bombing that existed at that time were taken out as a result of the bombing. But so let me get a little bit more magnification here. Here we are. You can see how quiet, just a quiet feeling. You get away from the bridges and it's really quiet. It's a pleasant, certainly a pleasant walk and a pleasant part of the city to live in. You have this connection with the water. It's a historical part of the city. This has really been a big part of the city for more than 400 years, since its modern founding in the early 17th century. A lot of people don't realize Tokyo is a fairly young city. It's really pretty much about the same age as New York, really. Japan, of course, is an ancient country, but people have lived here for thousands and thousands of years. But Tokyo is not an ancient city. I think there were villages and such here at the bay, on Tokyo Bay, and also there was a reason for people to live here, but it wasn't a particularly. It was a fairly small place for much of history, and the center of Japanese life has historically been in the what's called the Seto Sea, and that's Osaka to along the inland sea. The Seto Sea is the inland sea in the southern part of the country. So this is a more modern city. It's and its rise to become the most important city, and then the capital, and eventually to become, really in very modern times, since the last 50 years, to become the corporate financial capital of the city as well. Corporate media, government, it's like the London, it's now really the London of Japan, and that kind of dominance, the way it dominates the country. The metro region is about 36 million people. More than 9 million people live in the city itself, what's called the 23 wards. It's not technically Tokyo City. Pre-war it was. The area that now is called the 23 wards was pre-war, was called the Tokyo City. But it's now, it's given a special status as part of Tokyo Prefecture, but it's effectively the city of Tokyo. About 9.4, 9.5 million people that live here. So now that's a real busy bridge, as you can see. Very, very busy, a lot of traffic, and part of the reason you'll see a lot of trucks there is because that goes out to the new market, the new fish market. The new fish market, the old fish market, is actually to the right there. Let me just go down there. You look, see there that there's a bit of a green. That's being demolished, but that is the area that's the old fish market that's now been demolished and moved out. But you'll see a lot of that truck traffic over the bridge, is fish that's coming, fish and produce that's coming from the market to be delivered to stores and restaurants in the city center area, and other parts of the city as well, of course. And now we're coming up on another one of these bridges over a lock. There we go. And this is another recent, really has connected, given a connection up and down the river. Really has changed the way that walking up and down the river it feels. So right there, we're coming up on this walk now. This is a smaller lock that we're going to be seeing here in just a second. Some seagulls flying their trade along the river. And let's see if we can see here. There's the top of there you go. See that? That's the top of the lock. That's going to be the office, the lock operator that's going to be there. And I would think that they probably have these up manned 24 hours a day, because really, you know, and it can happen at any time. You get anytime you can get an earthquake. Show you here, there it is. Back up here just a second. Yeah. that? There we go. Off there. And we'll come down so you can see what it looks like on the water under the bridge there. Smaller lock. One big lock there. Go back to previous magnification. And we're going to be walking over this bridge in just a second. And across the bridge and come back. We've been going south. We're going south. We're going to turn back and go north up the river, back in the direction of home. I actually prefer this walk here. Less people use it. Still a nice view. It's going to be a little bit noisy as we walk over the bridge, so prepare for that. We got a little bit for the Urban Symphony Orchestra here. Probably some ambulance. Yeah, it's an ambulance. Yeah, here we go. It is Thursday in the city. Thursday morning in the city, and this is another late 20s post. It's a post-earthquake era bridge. Another one of these late 20s. 1920s, you can see the kind of deco kind of style. Let me swing around, give you a view up the river here, get a feel for what it looks like up the river. There you go, see that? And there, right straight ahead there is the Scuda, those towers, Scuda, the north part of those islands there. And ahead of me now, this is the real center of the city. Skeens is just a little bit beyond. Basically, Skeens is just a little bit further beyond the bridge. I think at one time this was a drawbridge. I think. It could be. I don't know. But at any rate, it's. I might be wrong with that. Probably am wrong. In fact, I know I'm wrong. So, here we are. We're coming over the bridge. Harumi, Bashi. Now coming on the downstroke of the bridge. And let me just give you a real quick view of the old market, the old fish market area. We're there's not much to see at this end. But let me just show you right there in the foreground there. That's kind of the outer market area. It's still thriving. It's still part of certainly a thriving area with still a lot of pre-war buildings. Still has an old market feel to it. So that didn't really change, even though the market itself went away. Didn't move very far. It's still an important retailing area. It's still a place where you go buy fish and all. And I think from a visitor's perspective, I think you'd still rather go there than go out to the new market. I've never been out there to actually see what's going on out there myself. I'm in no hurry to go out there. No, it's not far. It's just I don't know. It's I guess like a lot of people, creatures of habit and all, and you like the older stuff, and certainly had more a real feel to it. And as I say, you go to the outer market still, and it's still nice. It's worth visiting if you've been here before and you're wondering what's going on with the old Skiji market. Well, the market itself is gone, but the outer market, which is still a lively, interesting place with the little restaurants, little stands, and older buildings, and a number of pre-war buildings in the neighborhood there. So yeah, certainly it's still worth visiting. So now we're heading northbound on the river. Let's lock that in. Okay. There we go. There we go. And I'm getting used to walking fast with this, holding this, so. There's a homeless guy. Usually camped right there's his camp. See that he's not there this morning, but there's his stuff. And that's one guy. I don't know, that's the only homeless guy that I see along the river, and he's usually there in the morning, so but he's not there. Let's see if I can get a good view of this heron here. Let's see if we get this in. There it is right there. There it is, there we go. See that there? Got that guy flying up the river. There's another one right there. Let's see if we get that one. There it is right there. There we go. There you go. Like I say, there's lots of them. A lot of these guys going up and down the river. They seem to do more in the morning. I'm going to stop in just a minute up here. I need to retime my left shoe. So, and they've got lots of seats, convenient. I'm going to shut this off for a second. See you in a second. Back, okay? We're back and going up the river, and we're going by one of the docks. We're coming up on a dock on the right. There we go. Okay, that's fine. You see here on the right, see that? There's a little shell, there's a cover there. That is for a lock in on that. Just show you what this looks like here. It's a little barge, little pier. There you see that? They're floating pier there, but there are ferries boats that there's regular service a few times a day, and you can cruise up and down the river on regularly scheduled service. If you haven't, again, if you're a visitor, you come and visit Tokyo. I think it's one of the things that are worth doing and seeing. Get a nice feel for the river. It's very historical river, very historical part of the city. And this is one of the piers that you can catch the boats that go up and down the river. And that's the Chuo Ohashi's coming into view again there. And here you see they got the brick wall here. These walls they are, as I say, for they're for flood protection. And it's about probably from low tide about 4 plus meters of protection that to protect the city from flood surges in typhoon, and from oh, there we go, here comes another, there it is, see it, there we go. There we go. Yeah. I just love those birds. Just love those birds. You see across, we're coming up on the Sumida Ohashi. This ugly, ugly bridge. I walked across it the other day. It's just nothing pleasant about it. It's just a functional bridge. You got to have them. Post-war bridges were, in general, especially this early post-war kind of 50s, 60s, they built these functional bridges. It was later, and like you say, with a bridge like Chuo Ohashi there, that they started once again to think about aesthetics. You know, early post-war, the country had been devastated. People just wanted to build infrastructure. They wanted to recover from the disaster of the war. You know, it's understandable. Suppose that someday they might build something a bit more beautiful, better, more easy on the eyes than this when they replace it. And someday they certainly will. But for now, well, you just have to deal with it. I'm not planning on seeing a new bridge here anytime in my lifetime. So you know, but we got a nice view. See that? We've got a nice shot of the Chuo Ohashi. Really pretty bridge. Nice angle here, looking up the river and the mixture of residential and office buildings. I think if you look carefully, you can see which are which. there. And we are going to now, we're going to have to get off of the walk ends in a little bit. For a bit, then we're going to have to go, we're going to cross a little bridge, another pre-war bridge, and then we're going to get back on the river walk. This is a part where they haven't connected yet. I don't know if they will. They will, maybe someday they'll do it, but it doesn't seem like that's in the cards right now. But there have been those connections that have been made, so it's something that may be planned one of these days, you know. I think we got another. Yeah, we got another. Yeah, there we go. See that? There it is. You can see heron there. The kosogi, I think they call it in Japanese. You just might have seen a duck. There, see that? I don't catch that there. Let's see if we catch that. One of those ducks that. Let's see if we think we got it. They're kind of interesting because they dive. They definitely dive under. They're one of these ducks that can go under. They're not your mallard duck. They're definitely the mallards are kind of more freshwater. Seem like they can go in saltwater, but those ducks seem to be very acclimated to fishing in the river, saltwater and otherwise. They'll dive in. They'll go under, and they'll go under for, you see them go under for like 20, 30 seconds. They're good fishers, and there are plenty of fish down there, so let's see if we can. There's a couple of them out there, but they're ways out there. If I get a situation where they're nearby, I might give you a shot of them. They're interesting to watch. Yeah, that's why I'm just watching my right here. Just dive under, and you'll see them. They're under quite good bit of time, and see, this is really the place where the river meets the ocean bay. Tokyo Bay is an inlet of the ocean, pretty big inlet. So it's definitely the sea, the ocean coming in. Of course, it's a calmer waters. We're coming up. You'll see they're doing some construction here on this lock. Right there. There we go. They're doing some construction. So they're replacing the one lock that's out. They've only have the one lock, so they have to just block the one and then have the other one operating. It takes a couple of years to do the work. Now we're going to come up the stairs, and we're going to go off the river for a bit. Just give you a view of the work being done there. There you go. And there's a bridge. We're going to cross that bridge in just a second. And when I swing around, there's a pre-war building right there. It's what's called a copper clad. See if we can get a give you a view of that. See that copper clad? It's an old real estate building. It survived. It's pretty clearly not in use anymore. So I don't know what the story is, how it's going to survive, because this neighborhood is all like high rises. It's really the edge of the city center area, so it's pretty hard to, anyway, let me come back a little bit so you see that? There's a nice older, you know what I think they should do is convert it into like a restaurant. I mean, it's big enough if they did it, but I don't know. Chances are they'll probably just tear it down at some point. It's been like this for years. It's pretty clearly not in use anymore, but there it is. That's one of the last of the buildings, pre-war buildings in this area. They're slowly disappearing, and we're going to come up at the end of the block. We're going to turn to our right and cross this bridge. Some people are walking to work, people getting the morning exercise, other people walking to work. It's very much city center kind of neighborhood, city center residential neighborhood. There we go. What is this? Let me look at the name of this bridge. It's another one of these pre-war. I really like it. It has a nice, how do you say? Nice light feel to it. It's Minami something. I just really like the lightness of it. That light feel. It's Minami Takabashi. Minami Takabashi. Let me just swing around here. You can see the locks there. Yeah, you can see the locks are all up and down the river. Up and down the river again, protecting this part of the city. We'll swing around, you can see there. That's going in, and that's the interior. So we've got there's an island to the right. It's Shinkawa is the name of the island. That's on the right. That is an island there. Okay. So we're now walking on the street. This way we're going to come around, cross that bridge. The river is to our right. we're going to go under a little overpass. The overpass that is the approach to Chuo-Ohashi. So we'll get a little bit of a view of it coming around. But there you see there's those, right there, those buildings on Tsukuda. The Tsukuda area. The islands out there. This is another island. I think this is Shinkawa, name of this island. I think this existed in Edo times. So we're coming up. Yeah, we're not going to see the bridge, but we are coming up on the across here. Go. Garbage truck. Yeah. See how much of the bridge we can catch. Yeah, let's just try to catch a bit of this. Just give you a view of that. There we go. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. Okay, now we're under this little tunnel. And we're going to come up. And we are going to be on another park along the river. You got a number of these that you got the walkway, and then there are parks that they have. And we're going to come down here. Walkway here. Then we take the next stairs a little bit here, and we back down along the river. They're very nice. These are sakura, so they're very lovely in when the sakura bloom, late March, early April. Quite pretty here when they bloom. Coming, walking down to the river again. And there is Eitai Bashi. You see a little bit there. It's in the clouds, but that is Sky Tree. Get that all leveled out there. There we go. Sky Tree has been in the clouds all morning, so you see how people are walking, guys walking to work there. This is, yeah, you know, not bad. You live in the city here, and you work in an office building, live close enough to the center, and it's not it's nowhere near it's nothing like living in London or New York. It's a lot cheaper, actually. You know, you compare it, and you know, the interesting thing is I've been here for 30 years now, and in Asia for 30 years. I'm 29 of it here in Tokyo, and you've seen the prices. When I came here, Tokyo was way more expensive than New York. Everything was ridiculously expensive, and now it's actually cheaper. It's cheaper to live here. Okay, we got the sun coming out now. We got the sun coming out. It's going to be a little bit of supposed to get some wind. I suspect it's going to be a southern wind because the forecast is for very warm, sunny days. So we're supposed to get the winds this afternoon. Now we're going to be walking up the river for a while here, so we could get a real nice views as the clouds. You can see there's Sky Tree, just the base of it there beyond you can't really see much of it now, but it'll be there, and I think we're gonna see it and get a nice shot of it as the clouds lift, and as I say, it's starting to feel like a real summer now. We're going to get real summer temperatures here. So I'm coming under Eitaibashi again. So now we're going to just step off for just a little bit, and again it's like a block off. We're going to cross another little bridge just right up here. Bridges everywhere. If you love bridges, this is a great part of the city. Great city to live in, a great part of the city to live in. You got so many bridges. This is a lovely little pre-war bridge here. And we're going to come up. Yeah, it's hard for me to pronounce it Toyomi. Toyomi is the name of the bridge. Let me back up just a little bit so you can see I said that's a pre-war little box girder kind of style bridge there. And one of those, it's one of those parts of the city that's still here. Let me just show you. There's a little river there. You see those boats going up the river. I try to always forget the name of this river, but what you can see is all of the river that's not under expressway cover, and this river goes to Nihonbashi. So Nihonbashi crosses this river, but it's been under cover for the past 60 years or so by expressway beyond about the 500 meters there, that open part of the water there. So And I know there's plans, they're talking about putting the expressway under the river. I think it's going to be quite an undertaking. Again, it's one of those things that I will certainly never see in my lifetime, but someday, if you're young enough, you may see Nihonbashi restored to its splendor. Now we've got here is a placard. Yeah, 1698. This shows, this is a depiction of the Eitaibashi in its early, in the Edo era. So they have this placard to commemorate. In fact, the original bridge crossed right here, and the north of this of the river there, and then this bridge is now south, but the original bridge is in 1698. So it says there 1698 was the original bridge. There was one that was built in 1897. The previous one to this was built in 1897, and that was destroyed during the Kanto Great Earthquake. And the reason was not that the bridge itself, the bridge wasn't damaged by the earthquake, but the supports were wooden. For some reason, they had nice metal, and they had a train and the whole thing, you know, but they didn't think about what happened was when the earthquake hit, the support burned, the wooden support burned, so the bridge was ended up being destroyed. Well, they learned that lesson. They built it was all steel and concrete, so they rectified that problem. So now we're going back down to the river, and we're going to be here for we are here. There's a barge. There's a barge going up the river. Yeah, the barges work the river there up and down during the day. So you got during the week, the river is always kind of churned up. It's kind of nice on the weekend or in the morning. You come in the morning on the week, early morning, and it's usually very placid, because there's the river, and the boats have not going up and down the river. It's too early for that, and it's too early for that. So you got a very nice, very almost like glass, you know. So it's quite nice. Got to get out early on the weekend morning, and the sun's coming out, so it is not peeking in and out, but it's definitely getting brighter, and it's definitely warm and humid. This is definitely now, we are definitely feeling that kind of summer heat and humidity. The first time, really. This is now the real deal. We're going to be coming up, I think we're going to be having the low 30s here, and if you're down in the Kansai region, they're going to have the mid 35. Kyoto, I think, is scheduled to have 35 degrees. Now you're looking up. That is the Kiyosumi Bashi. Let me get oriented here. Let me get this. Swing this around. There we go. There we go. Kiyosumi Bashi, and that's another one of these pre-war post-earthquake. Again, the previous one was destroyed during the Great Kanto earthquake in 1923, and this bridge was the replacement. It's said to copied a design in the German city of Heidelberg. I think it's Heidelberg. And so they like that German design. Here's another one of these piers here. We're coming up on that. I showed you one earlier. Here's another one of these piers where the boats come along. Any rate, getting back to Kiyosumi Kiyosumi Bridge. So it was a post-earthquake. It survived the war. Another one of these bridges that survived the bombing of the war, and beautiful bridge. It's one of my favorite. Very deco. We'll get a good view of it. We're going to cross it. We're going to cross it as we're going to end near the end of the walk. This morning's walk. These bridges are all connecting. These particular bridges all connect. This one's connecting Koto-ku, Koto Ward on the right, with Chuo Ward, Chuo-ku on the left here. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see get a shot of the of Tokyo Skytree. Don't know if we're going to. There we go. May be able to hear those are gulls. Those are gulls there. That's the sound of gulls. Yeah. Butterflies, you think? I think we got some butterflies there. Got some butterfly action, and bird action, butterfly action. It's all happening. Sun's coming out. It's going to be a hot summer day. Later in the day, it's supposed to be windy. The wind is going to be some warm southern breeze that's going to blow some tropical air our way. And we're going to get the tropical summer. Which, if you don't like tropical summer, you better be somewhere else, because this is what happens here in Tokyo. We get the tropical summer here now. A little bit early, because it's now still June, so we're getting. Sometimes we won't get any of this kind of weather until later. You know, it's we're in the monsoon period, coming up the stairs here, but the monsoon season, and we had a lot of clouds the first couple of weeks. A bit of rain, a lot of clouds, and so another pretty busy bridge. Not as much truck traffic, but as with Harumi Bashi. There you go. See that? Very deco style, very 1920s deco style bridge. As I say, it's really one of my favorites in the city. And we're going to get a nice view. We're going to get in the middle of the bridge here. We'll look down the river. Let's go. Oh, it's a nice, really nice. There we go. Yeah. What a lovely, lovely, lovely light. Look at that. Even that bridge looks beautiful. That ugly, ugly bridge looks beautiful. There's a boat there. They're working. Those maintenance crews. There you go. Look at that. Lovely view of the river. Yeah, very nice. This is what I have to put up with every day. Every day I gotta put up with stuff, nice stuff like this, huh? Not bad. It could be, life could be worse. Now you see there, right on the right there, there's actually a cement plant. That is a vestige. Was an old industrial area. This part of the city on this side. Oh, in fact, it's one of the reasons why us Americans bombed the hell out of it in the wars. There was a lot of industry, a lot of war production related to war production was going on, and so it got bombed to oblivion and firebombed to oblivion. But that is, it's very close to city center, and you know, it's one of those things where I'm sure the concrete that gets produced there is real expensive, but it's as close to the city center as you're ever going to get, and you can deliver. There's a lot of construction that goes on at city center, and they can produce concrete, plenty of concrete. So we're coming across, just to very briefly get back on the river here, and we're going to go just briefly across. Just give you one last view of the Sumida River and the Sumida River Terrace. And you can see that is, you see right there on the left there, right there in the foreground, that is a lovely little hotel. It's a inexpensive hotel. It's kind of like a hostel. I think many of the rooms are hostel style, and a very inexpensive place to stay. The tourists have discovered it. I think they've had some trouble, lots of trouble the last couple of years. But foreign tourists, when they discovered it, it's hard to book when we ever get some real tourism back. But I recommend it if it's called Ryuro. Yeah, they call the share hotels. That is an old office building. It was a disaster as an office building, but the great thing about real estate is you can make a mistake and then end up repositioning a building with imagination. You can find another use for it, especially in a big city like this. There's always some use that you can get for a piece of real estate. You can almost never it's hard to make a mistake unless you really just screw up. But as I say, they built a little office building that was completely bombed as an office building, but it found a second life as a hotel hostel. So we're coming to the end. Here's another one of these locks. All right, this is a real little one here. You can see how little this one is. Just pan up here. See that? Real little guy there. It's a little guy, a little canal, and this one has always had this walkway. It had this walkway here for a long time. over this entrance. Boats can come in here, but they got to be real small. Only small boats can come up this lock. There's other ways to get into the canal system than this entrance here. So, anyway, this is the last little bit, coming back to where we started this morning, and we're going to call it a day. Just a minute here. Just a minute. I thought we were going to get some sun. We're getting some blue sky. We're getting some blue sky now. Let's turn around and see give you a view of Skytree. It's still kind of in the clouds there. Yeah, we'll get it another day. It's starting to come out. But any rate, we're going to go up the stairs here in just a second, and we get to this stairwell. That's going to be the end of our filming for today. So thanks for watching. Thanks for bearing my comments here, and we'll see you again some other time. Bye.